Good morning, those on Zoom. Good morning to those of you here. All right. So let's begin. We can take our thumbs and tuck them into our fingers. Let our hands rest on our thighs. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes, or if you'd prefer to just soften your gaze, that's fine. And we'll just bring our awareness to the three treasures, to our body and the alignment of our body, to our breath and the movement of our breath, and to our mind and the focus of our mind. And the invitation is to direct the focus of your mind to the sensations of your body and the alignment of your body, and the sensations of your breath and the movement of your breath through your body. So today we'll begin with some seated Qigong. So you can just let your hands come to either side of your body. And as you inhale, turn the palms forward, let the hands float up, allowing yourself to rise gently. And on the exhale, the palms can float down, maybe even past the midline to where you hinge forward just a little bit, and then inhale, up. And exhale. Just riding the wave of the breath, finding some lift and expansion as you inhale and as you exhale, just relaxing. Not necessarily collapsing, but softening. Just moving with your breath. And this simple movement can help to introduce a gentle bend to the spine, a gentle undulation even. So just loosening up our neck and our back, our lower back, our shoulders. Moving at your pace, the pace of your breath, which may be different than mine. Maybe allowing the movement to lengthen the breath. And when you get to the top of your inhale, maybe holding for just a beat or two before you gently exhale. And as you reach the bottom of your exhalation, maybe resting there for another beat or two. Let's just do a couple more cycles of movement and breath. And allowing the movement to extend all the way out your arms, through your wrists, to the tips of your fingers, one more cycle, wherever you are. And as you're ready, you can just inhale the hands up, tucking the thumbs back into the fingers and exhaling the hands back to the thighs. And returning an awareness to the alignment of your body, the sensations of your body within gravity, breathing through your body, allowing that to be the focus of your mind. On your next inhalation, inhale and the hands can float up the front of the body, turning the palms up so you can look up. And then exhale, the hands can come around. You can make soft fists with your hands and press your fists together as your chin moves towards your chest. And then inhaling up. Palms up, looking up, a gentle arch to the back, and then exhaling as the hands come around, bringing out your body and your breath, rounding the back gently, and then again, in, stretch, and exhale. Holding at the bottom of the exhale as you bring yourself out, and then inhaling, filling yourself up. Moving with your breath, allowing the breath to facilitate the movement, and allowing the movement to facilitate the breath. The movement can help to wring the breath all the way out. Inhaling. The breath can help to expand the movement, finding more space for breath. Squeezing the fists together, maybe scrunching your face. Inhaling, opening, receiving the breath into every cell. And exhaling. Moving at your pace. We'll do one more cycle. Bringing yourself out. And as you inhale, just roll yourself up. The hands can float up. Thumbs back into the fingers. Hands back onto the thighs. Returning to the body and the alignment of the body, the breath and the movement of the breath. Inviting the focus of the mind to your sensations of body and breath. As you breathe in, feel the breath moving into your body. As you breathe out, feel the breath moving through your body. On your next inhale, you can root through your seat and lift through the base of your skull to get nice and long. On the exhale, we'll place the mirror hand or fingertips on the ground and just gently lean over to that side, and then pressing through the hand that's on the ground to come back up, get nice and tall and then exhaling to the other side. Just as far as is comfortable, moving with your breath. Taking your time, allowing the movement to bring more awareness into the sensations in your body, into the discs in between your vertebra. Again, using the hand to help press yourself up so that we're not lifting with our backs alone, but we have some support. If you'd like, on the next inhale, the hands can come out to a T, and then exhaling, the window hand down and the mirror hand can come up and over, just as much as is comfortable. No need to go further than what feels good. We're not looking for any sharp, pointy edges. And if it doesn't feel good to bring one arm up and over, you don't have to do that. Taking your time. Allowing the rhythm of the breath to dictate the rhythm of the movement, which sometimes is slower than we think it ought to be. One more time up, and one more time over. And we can inhale back to center, tuck the thumbs into the fingers, and the hands can rest back on the thighs. And again, breathe into the shape of your body. Allow the breath to refine the shape of your body. Let's inhale our hands out to the sides. And then exhale, the hands down in front of our laps. The fingers can gently interlace, and then we'll inhale up to the throat, turn the palms up, and exhale up and out until you get to shoulder level, and then slowly inhaling all the way up to your throat. Turn the palms up and then exhale all the way out to shoulder level. And this is our rhythm. Inhaling. And exhaling. A long, slow breath in and out. A long, slow breath can sometimes feel a little challenging. Inhaling. And exhaling. But this is a manageable challenge. In and out. Let's do 2 more cycles. In and out. Last one. Inhaling up to the throat again. Thumbs back into the fingers and exhale. Bring your awareness into your body and the sensations of the alignment of your body. Feeling your seat, wherever you're sitting. Allowing the base of the skull to lift up and slightly back so that it lengthens the back of the neck. It gently lifts the collarbones, the chin slightly tucks. As the collarbones lift, the shoulders can spread wide and the shoulder blades can settle down onto the back of the rib cage. And we have room to breathe in our chest. So breathing into the chest and inviting the breath all the way through to the backside of the rib cage, not just the front. Even though it may feel, by lifting the base of the skull, that our chests are really lifting and opening, we can allow that to happen, but breathe all the way through, which may allow the base of the skull to lift even a little bit higher, creating more room behind the heart, in between the shoulder blades, that you can fill with your breath. You may even become aware of the breath moving down the back of the rib cage, lifting the lower ribs off of the lower back, which allow the hips to root down into the ground, which then allows more lift up through the base of the skull, which allows more width across the shoulders and into the sides of the rib cage that you can fill with breath, with awareness and chi. And as you're ready, you can bring your hands together. You can rub our palms together. And let's massage our faces a couple times. And from here, our hands can then move over our scalps, front to back or back and forth, or however feels good. And as you're ready, the hands can slide down the back of the neck and around. Take our time as we massage over our chests, our lungs, and our heart, down the sternum, working our way to the solar plexus and then out over the lower ribs, the sides of the body, and onto the abdomen. And then around the waist to the lower back and the kidneys. Drawing the hands out. Shake them out. Rub the palms together. We'll massage our arms, so let's tap the fingertips and then up the outside and down the inside. Up one more time, and then down, changing sides. Up the outside, down the inside. Remembering to breathe and feel. Up one more time, and then down. Big breath in and out. Rub the palms together. You can bring your feet out in front of you and we can massage our feet. The bottoms of the feet with our thumbs, the top of our feet with our fingers. Massaging the edge of our foot that's facing up towards us. Waking our feet back up. And if you'd like, you can apply some gentle pressure to the deepest hollow on the bottom of the foot. And then from there, you can draw the hands up the inside of the legs and around the hips and down the outside. And one more time, up and around and down and out. Big breath in, shake it out. Rubbing the palms together. One more time for now, we'll tuck the thumbs into the fingers, let the hands rest on our thighs, and again, just checking in. Breathe into the shape of your body. Feel the sensations of your body, the substance of your body. Allow the mind to penetrate deep into your body. The yang of the mind moving into the yin of the body. The fire of the mind moving into this watery substance. We are 70% water. Fire of the mind into the water of the body. Allow that to create steam. Steam is the character for Qi. Steam is, in fact, what happens metabolically in our bodies. How is it that these fluids that are sinking down through our bodies into our kidneys work their way back up against gravity to inform our hypothalamus and pituitary glands about what's going on inside of our bodies? What do we need more of? What do we need less of? It's steam. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. And let's just stand right up. So feel free to shake it out a little bit if you'd like. You can kind of wiggle and bounce some. We'll probably do some more of that here in just a moment. But I just wanted to share a quote that I read recently, which I thought was really great. It said, and it was kind of talking about just, I think, maybe life in general, but also when we're doing things like these forms, practicing Qigong forms or other kind of forms. And it said, this is so important that we shouldn't take it too seriously. Which I think is a nice Tai Chi. It's a nice yin-yang balance. And, there's also something that one of my teachers likes to say that says, be precise and also gentle. So don't be so precise that you can't be relaxed. And don't be so relaxed that you can't be precise. Again, this is another kind of Tai Chi. And so I think this is a great kind of attitude to bring into these kinds of practices. We want to do things with a kind of precision and a kind of wholeness and completeness. But if we're so hyper-focused on doing it in a certain kind of way, it starts to lose its fluidity. It starts to be less alive, and starts to be more kind of formalized or robotic. And so, again, allowing some room for life to exist within the forms, and the forms to provide this kind of lattice work for life to flourish. So again, really just inviting this attitude to our practice of precision and gentleness, or precision and relaxation. And what is that balance? And sometimes it feels nice. I find it feels nice to even go a little bit too far one way or the other. Like similar to when we do some of our alignment cues, and I'll sometimes suggest that we bend our knees a little deeper than we feel is appropriate so that we can find that right spot. Or kind of like tuning a guitar, you need to go out of tune so that you can find the tune. It's like sometimes it can be nice to let yourself maybe be a little too relaxed. So that then it's like, oh right, that's a little too far, let me come back. Or a little too robotic or mechanical, and it's like, right, that's a little too much. How can I find this spot? And I don't think that spot is ever just there, I had another teacher who liked to say, balance isn't this, balance is this. It's like the way tightrope walkers walk, where they're always kind of trying to find this middle place, but they're never just in the middle. So again, just when I read that, I just thought, that's beautiful. This is so important, we shouldn't do it too seriously. Yeah. So with that, let's find a nice, comfortable stance, and again, maybe rocking forward and back a little bit, rocking side to side a little bit, to just find a way of standing on our feet that feels solid and connected, and at the same time, dynamic and light. Like, what is that even like? And I feel like it's one of those things we kind of, we get tastes of, it comes and goes, and it's here, and then it's gone, and then we find it again, and that's also part of it. It's like, if you'll indulge me some more words here, this was one thing, when I grew up, I listened to a lot of rap music when I was growing up, alternative hip-hop, and in the early 90s, that was my thing. And sometimes when I share it with my wife, who doesn't speak English, she hates it because she can't track what anybody is saying, and sometimes it's too fast, or it's, it's like, I don't get the words. And I was actually listening to some of it recently, and I was thinking, oh right, if you're trying to listen to what they're saying, you can't actually hear it. You can't get the meaning in the words when you're trying to follow what the words are. But if you just kind of let it wash over you, similar to like Shakespeare, you just let it wash over you, and then it's like, oh, I get the meaning of what's there without needing to understand every single word. So I feel like it's kind of like that too with this practice. It's like we're just letting it happen, and we get these glimpses and these insights and these things that are there, and then as soon as we feel them, they're gone again. But those moments infuse us with this awareness and this understanding that then just starts to become who we are and how we are. I think modern rap music, for the most part, is terrible, just so you know. All right. Not all of it, though. Okay, enough about that. So, feeling into our feet, allowing that dynamic movement to happen and still being solid, soft knees. And same thing with the hips and the pelvis. It's like a gyroscope, all of these micro movements constantly happening. And at the same time, there is a solidness that comes from that dynamic movement. And breathing into the whole rib cage, especially the sides and the back of the rib cage. And then tuning into the base of the skull and lifting the base of the skull. It's a lever, it's like pulling us up. We pull from here, and that lifts the collarbones. And then as you have that lift of the collarbones, you may become very aware of the center of your chest. And so from the center of the chest, see if you can extend the line through your chest to the center of the back of your chest and reach those 2 points apart from each other with your breath. So it's almost like a triangle. Top of the triangle, one point of the triangle, the other point of the triangle. And it's lifting and spreading. And this helps to decompress the neck and create space across the shoulders and width and length into the rib cage, which helps to create a lot of freedom around the diaphragm, which can help the lower back to then hang and decompress, and the hips can be free, like a basket hanging underneath a hot air balloon. And our feet root into the earth, which actually provide a lift that extends out through by way the top of our head into the universe. And here we are, just dynamic universes ourselves within this dynamic universe. Exchanging, changing, evolving, moving. Very much alive. And so with precision and gentleness, on the inhale, just let your hands float out, palms down, shoulder level. Stretch the fingertips forward and the back of the head away. And then exhale. We'll do that a couple more times. Palms down, inhale, stretch, and exhale. In, and again, fingertips reaching towards the wall in front of you. Back of the head, back of the ribs, reaching behind you. 2 more. Take a breath here. This time, leading with the thumbs and the index fingers. We're going to inhale the hands up and reaching up overhead. Reach the fingertips up into the sky. Spread the floor apart in between your feet. And then exhale. Hands come back down, and then we'll inhale up. And again, spreading the floor apart, so pushing into the outer edges of your feet to help you reach tall, and then exhale the hands down. 3 more. Inhaling. Stretch. Exhale. In. And out. Last one. In. And out. And then rest for a breath or 2 or 3. Let's bring our fingertips to the sides of our shoulders. Arms are just relaxed. And then we'll inhale and open. Fingertips can point towards the ground. And then exhale. Blooming like a flower. Inhale. Stretch. Exhale. In. Stretching wide. Exhale. Blooming from the center of the chest. One more. Relax. Let's bring our palms together out in front of the belly. And then we can inhale the hands up. The hands can separate. And then we'll exhale the hands back and around. Palms together. Now let's go the other way. So inhale out and up. And then exhaling as the hands come together and down. And that's one. Inhaling. Stretching. Exhaling. Staying in the comfort zone. Back the other way. In. And out. Again. Stretching, exhaling. Back the other way. Let's do one more. In and out. And back. In and out. And relax. Feel free to shake it out, roll out your shoulders. We can take a slightly wider stance if you'd like. Your toes can be forward or even angled slightly out to the sides. Hands can come on your hips. And we're going to hinge at the hips just as far as is comfortable. So the hips move back, weights in the heels, and then we'll move with the breath. So we're going to go towards the mirrors first. We're going to inhale as we rotate around to the side and back, and then exhale the other half as we come around and down. Back the other way. In. And then out. Timing the breath with the movement. So half circle on the inhale. Half circle on the exhale. Staying in the zone of comfort. In. Take your time. Out. In. And out. Again. In. And out. One more in each direction. In, out, and then inhale up. Okay, now's the tricky one. So we can bring our heels closer together. The feet are kind of angled out at a 45-degree angle, or I guess that's like a 90-degree angle. Hands on the hips. We're going to inhale up off of our heels, staying off the heels. Exhale, just as deep as you can. Inhale up. And out. In. Out. In. One more. Out. In. exhale back down. Whew. Shaking it out, getting comfortable. Okay, so feet comfortable width apart. We'll inhale, the hands up overhead. And then exhale, send your hips back and hands down as low as is comfortable. Feel free to bend your knees and then shift the hips back, weight in the heels as you inhale up. And exhale. Again, press through the heels, hips lift, and then the body comes up and out. Inhale. Exhaling, last time. Inhale up. And exhale down. These movements are so simple, but they generate some heat. All right. Moving on to some balance exercise. And so feel free, if you need to hold on to something, focus your gaze on the floor in front of you. Don't lift the feet as high off the ground, however it works. So we can put our hands on the hips. We'll start with the mirror side leg. So we're going to inhale up, toes down, and then exhale, point your toes. Inhale, exhale, slowly. In, out, in, and out. In, out, in, and out. It's like a slow motion march almost. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Last one. Whew. All right, we're almost there. So, hands back on the hips. We'll shift our weight back into the window leg, moving with the mirror leg first. We're going to inhale forward and out, and then exhale around, and you can touch your toe if you'd like. And then inhale around, exhale back. Inhaling other side, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Take your time. Inhale, exhale. You can make small circles. You can make big circles. Try different things. Move with your breath. So half of the circle is the inhale, the other half is the exhale. In and out. Last time, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Shaking it out. Let's step out wide. We're going to take our mirror side foot pointed towards the mirror. So we've got a 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle. Got to get my angles correct. We'll take the mirror hand, bring it over to the window side hip, and then we're going to inhale, shift our weight into this front leg. The palm faces forward as it reaches up overhead. We can look at it. And then exhale, sweeping down and back. Inhale. Nice stretch. Exhale. Again, in and out. The gaze follows the hand. 2 more. In and out. Slowly. Last time. In and out. Both feet face forward, hands to the hips. We'll turn the window foot out, bringing the window hand over to the mirror hip. Gaze follows the hand. We'll inhale, shifting into the front leg. Palm faces forward as it's up overhead. And then exhale, sweeping down and back. In and out. In and out. In and out. In. One more for good measure. Feet face forward, hands back on the hips, and we can shake it out. And then let's just keep on shaking it out a little bit. So however you need, maybe shaking the legs, wiggling the hips, rolling the shoulders, bouncing the elbows, however big or however little feels appropriate, feels good. And as you're ready, you can let that settle and just breathe with the whole body. Like allow the breath to just saturate every cell of your body. Allow the breath to nourish your whole body. And I mean, that's a nice thing to remember, is that the breath does nourish our body. And the breath is available to us. It's offered to us by the universe. And our breath feeds the trees and the plants, and the plant's breath helps to feed us. And all of the little tiny microorganisms in the ocean producing oxygen. All of this exchange that's happening, that we are a part of, that we're participating in, nourishing and being nourished by. And all we have to do is just allow it to happen. Like even if we weren't trying, if we were unconscious, we would still be breathing. And we have the opportunity to breathe consciously. To participate in the exchange consciously. So let's do an oldie but a goodie. We'll move through the 9 phases of Qi cultivation. So as you're ready, we can inhale and just open out wide. And then exhale, just let the hands move towards each other. The knees move away as they bend. And And then let's inhale. Drawing everything in, and then exhale, flushing everything through. Just engage Qi. Discover Qi. Like discover this ocean of Qi that you are in. Feel it. Like one of my teachers likes to say, feel the plasma of the universe that you are moving through. Empty space is actually so full. Constantly, just this like bubbling cauldron of potential. Moving with the breath, discovering your body, discovering your breath, discovering your mind. Precise and also relaxed. Moving on, we're going to inhale, open the arms wide. And as we exhale, send your hips back, the knees bend just as much as is comfortable as the hands come down. And then inhale, lifting up to the heart. Exhale, relax. Inhale, gathering from the sky, and exhale, drawing it down through your body. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, hips back until the knees bend. Gather from the earth. Inhale, draw it up into you. And then exhale, let it go. Inhale, gather the universe. And exhale through the body. In and out. We are the filament. We're the conduit between the earth and the sky. We're helping this yang energy to move down and through to the earth. And we're helping this yin energy to move up and through to the sky. Just feeling the movement of energy through the body. The more that we can just let it go and let it flow, the more full we become. In and out. In and out. In and out. Taking your time, harmonizing the breath and the movement. One more time. In and out. In and out. Let the hands just float down. Take a breath or two. So inhale your hands up to your heart. Shift your weight towards the windows. Pivot towards the mirrors. And then exhale, let your hands flow out. Shift your weight into that front leg. You can adjust the back foot. And then inhale in. And exhale, this time we're going to go down the front leg. And then press through the front leg, inhale up. And then exhale out in front. In, down to the earth. Strong front leg, inhale. Exhale into that strong front leg. In and out. Feel the Qi moving through your body. Feel the universe moving through your body as you move through the universe. Inhaling up. One more time. Out in front. In. And down. Strong front leg pushes you up. Turn to face forward and the hands can exhale out to the sides. Take another breath or two. Feel the chi moving through your body. Hands can float up to the heart, shift towards the mirrors, pivot towards the windows, and then exhale into the front leg so you can adjust your back foot, and then inhale in and exhale down. Strong front leg, push through it to come up. Inhale. Exhale. In and out. This movement, inhaling, is called inner rivers flowing. Flowing out. Flowing in. And out. And in. Just feel the flow. Ride the momentum. Enjoy. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll do one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling out. In and down. Inhale up, turn to face forward. Exhale the hands around to the sides. Take a couple breaths. Breathe yourself into the universe. Breathe the universe into you. Let's bring our palms back to back and then inhale up to the heart. And roll the palms together. Just taking a moment, feel your fingers and your palms as they touch. Like feel into all the sensation that's there. Maybe you might even feel in your fingertips, your blood pumping. And if you don't, that's okay. But it's happening. So now, nice and easy, just breathing naturally, we're going to bring our hands up over our faces and heads and down the back of the neck and then around the base of the neck. We'll come under the collarbones and under the armpits and down the back of the body. Push your hips into your hands and just draw the hands down the back of the legs, around the top of the feet and up the front, up onto the belly, up onto the chest. We'll open the mirror arm, trace down the inside of that arm, and then over the top of the hand and up the back of the arm, onto the shoulder and the neck and the face, and then extend that arm, and the mirror hand can come in and tracing down the inside of the window arm, around and up the outside, onto the neck and the face, and then window arm comes in, mirror arms comes in, and then we can come up and around the head and neck, under the collarbones, and down. Up the front, we know where we're going, out the inside of one arm, around and up, and then down the inside of the other arm. Around and up. And one arm comes in, and then the other arm comes in, and over and around. under and down. Up the front, out one arm, and up, out the other arm, and up. And again, one arm, and then the other. Around, under, and down, drawing the yang energy down to the earth, drawing the yin energy up into us, and then back out, and then in, and out, and in, and one more time. The arms cross and we'll come over and around, under, and down, up the front, out the inside, up the outside, other side. One arm, and then the other. Now we'll lift through the elbows, part the clouds, and let the window hand float down and come across the body. And as it floats up on the mirror side, the other hand will come down. And now let's bring both hands across. So drawing the top and the bottom of a square, and then the other side of the square, and the top and the bottom. And we'll just move like this. And I find this movement is a wonderful movement to explore this kind of, too relaxed, or too precise, and finding the nice middle ground. So let's be very precise, almost robotic, really, robots deal with squares. So we're making squares, and then pop, and across, and then switch, very precise. We know right as far as we're going, and we stop, and then bring it across, and stop, and switch. This is it's kind of nice, but at the same time, it's like tension is building. And so see if you can relax some of that tension. So we're still precise, we still know where we're ending and how far we're going, but it's just a little softer. A little, maybe more rounded. There's just a little more space. And we can start to give it a whole lot of space. Maybe the hands start to move further away from each other. And maybe, there's a little bit of a wiggle even in the body as we're shifting side to side, and we're just kind of, we're at a music festival, and things are happening, and somebody gave us something to eat, and now we don't know what's going on anymore. And we're just floating through space, listening to the music. Everything is just doing its thing. And we can just be out there, and this might feel really great, really expansive. But maybe even to the point where we're so expansive and loose and relaxed that we might actually kind of knock something a little out of place even. So maybe we can start to rein it back in a little bit. Kind of find that nice middle way. That's not too loose, but it's not tense or restricted either. What's that like? If we can find a way of allowing something to be easy and relaxed, and also intentional, and almost kind of specific. So again, this is a great movement to just kind of calibrate. And then the next time our hand floats up and comes in front of us, we can pause. Bring the lower hand up to cross. And we can let the hands come on either side of the hips. Take a nice inhalation. And as you exhale, send your hips back until your knees need to bend just a little. Let the hands dig in, and then inhale out, press through your heels, come up, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, in and out. Take your time. Inhale, gathering up. Exhaling down deep into the marrow of your bones, and then in and out. In and out. So again, we're precise, but also relaxed. In and out. In and out. In and out. Let's do 2 more. Reaching the hips back, weight in the heels. Inhale, hips back. Keep reaching back through the hips. Knees move apart, and then gather. And then exhale. Let the hands come down over the lower dantian. Take a couple breaths. Breathe underneath your hands.
Hey, Oli.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. It appears you forgot the 4th movement.
Yes, it's true. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Yeah, we almost did the 8 phases of Qi cultivation. All right.
We can change it, right? We can change it.
Hey, it's important to change it. We don't want to be too precise. Thank you. So, let's do that. Let's do that movement now. So we can relax the hands. Inhale, palms back to back, coming together in front of the heart. And then just breathe for a few moments. Let's take a breath in. And as you exhale, send the hands out in front. Inhale, open wide. And then exhale, push. Inhale into center, palms up. Exhale, up. Inhale to center. Exhale, press down. Palms back to back, in. And then as you push forward, sinking back. Inhale. And then exhale. Reach both directions. Inhale. Palms up. Exhale, press up as you sink down. Inhale. Like you're pressing yourself over a wall. Exhale. Again. One more, gently. A scale of 2 out of 10. Cooling down. In and out. Palms back to back will come up. And then exhale around. Back to the lower dantian. And here we are. So just letting that heat settle underneath our hands. And like we did last week, breathing from this center of the lower back, this point, the gate of destiny, Ming Men. And so again, sometimes when we breathe into the belly, we think about breathing the belly out. What I would like you to think about doing is from this point in your back, breathe into your belly, but like you're suckling your hands with your lower back. So we're still breathing into the belly, but we're breathing engagement into the belly rather than softening. As we inhale with the lower back, the lower ribs lift up and off the lower spine, creating space in the back of the lumbar spine. Breathe up through the base of your skull, in with the center of the lower back. Another big breath there. And then let's inhale the hands up and exhale around. Find a nice chi ball in between your hands. Let's inhale and stretch it. And exhale, compress it. Another breath like that. Feel the space in between your hands. One more. Bring one hand underneath and one hand on top, and then inhale, stretch. And exhale. Turn it over. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go diagonal. So inhale, up and over the shoulder. Maintain a connection between the hands, and then exhale. Other side. Inhale. Stretching. Exhale. One hand up, other hand down. Flip. Inhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Stretching. It's like we're making the universe here. The dragon polishing the pearl. The universe is a green dragon. Wonderful book. I recommend it highly. And then the hands come facing each other. Let's inhale up the front of our body. Exhale as you send your hands out, sink back into your heels. And then inhale. And exhale. Moving with the breath, slowing the breath down. Drawing energy up the spine, over the top of the head, and then exhaling down the front of the body. Two more. Last one. And then exhale, let the hands float out in front. And then the elbows can bend a little more so the hands can move closer to the body. And let's let the hands come down about heart level. So you can, if you need to, like roll your shoulders up and back and just let them drop. Let's do that again. Inhale. Drop. So our neck and shoulders are not necessarily needed here. The elbows aren't completely lax. They're a little active, but more like 45 degrees towards the ground. Lifting up through the base of the skull. So the collarbones lift. Feel that point in the center of your chest, under your fingertips, and see if you can breathe wide from the back side of your body, the opposite side of this point in the center of your chest, in between your shoulder blades. Breathe that away from this point in the center of your chest. Keep lifting up through the base of the skull. So we're getting lift and loft and expansion and extension and decompression of the neck and the thoracic vertebra and the lumbar vertebra. And our feet are rooted into the ground. You can lift your toes. You can spread your feet apart, just like you're gently spreading your elbows apart. And there's all this effort. And so with that, see if you can maintain all of this awareness, this activity, but with less effort. You don't want to completely give it up. But if you were at a 6 or a 7 or an 8, see if you can maintain like a 2 or a 3, even a 4. And breathe. Remember to breathe. And if there's a spot that feels like it's working hard or getting sore, getting tired, breathe into that area. Maybe even bend your knees a little deeper. Sit back into your heels. So by bending the knees, I don't mean bending forward into the knees, but I mean hips sinking back and sinking into the heels a little bit more. So it's the hamstrings. You're like sitting on your hamstrings. Lifting through the base of the skull. Let's take a big breath in. And then exhale, relax. Inhale, gather up. Step the feet a little closer together. And exhale. Hands over the lower dantian. Bring your hands around your waist. And down. And just drift for a few moments here. We're still engaged. We're still practicing Qigong. So still lifting through the base of the skull, which lifts the collarbones, which brings awareness to the center of the chest, which allows us to breathe into the center of the back, in between the shoulder blades. Breathe that triangle. Top of the triangle, front of the triangle, or point, lower point, other lower point. Breathing. Feel that triangulation of lift and stretch with the breath. Allow the rib cage that's lifting you off of your lower back and your hips. Allow you to then root into the hard parts of the bottom of your feet. And this activation of our collagen crystalline matrix, also known as our skeleton, generates piezoelectricity. There is an electrical charge being activated by our postural awareness. And this electric charge is coming from the universe into the earth, and from the earth up through our bodies into the universe. And this charge is helping to align the tissues in our body, to help break up adhesions, to smooth away scar tissue, to facilitate the functioning and impulses of the nervous system, to repair what needs to be repaired, to refresh what needs to be refreshed. We are not closed, independent systems, separate from anything. We are open systems, part of a larger whole, constantly receiving information, being renewed and refreshed, developing and evolving. We are not doomed to entropy as open systems. And let's take a big breath in and relax. Let's do that again. Let's amplify. And then discharge. One more. And let's massage our hands together. Massaging our face up and down, back and forth over the top of our heads, down the back of the neck and around over the chest, to the lower ribs and the sides of the ribs, and then onto the belly, and around the waist, to the lower back and the kidneys. Draw it out. Shake it out. We'll pat up one arm, and down, up the other arm, and down, and then around and down, and up the front, and around and down, and up the front. Some sighs of relief. That was great. One more. Great. Well, thank you so much for your practice, and may this Qi that's moving through us and out of us and back into us, may everybody, all beings, all things, everywhere, feel this flow and this exchange and this connection and this renewal. So thank you so much for your practice again, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Yeah. All right. And enjoy lesser heat. Yeah. I think in another week or so we'll be moving into greater heat. Yeah. So enjoy that. Stay cool. All right. Thank you all so much for practicing, and I hope you have a great week as well. And thank you, Bob, for reminding us of that fourth movement. It's good. Yeah, sometimes they say you don't have to worry about messing up because nobody knows if you're doing it right or not, but you longtime practitioners will know. So thanks for keeping me honest. All right. Have a great week.